Hello everyone, Alpha here, back with some more of the Kite Runner, and here we are in Chapter 8. So, Chapter 7, yes, Hassan got violated. That's the main point, Hassan got violated. And I think it's time we move on to Chapter 8 to see what actually happens next. Okay, let's get on with it. Sorry, my throat's still dry from yesterday's 18 pages. But don't worry, today it's now even gonna get worse with 19 pages. Yeah, this just keeps getting longer, doesn't it? I'm pretty much sure it does. Oh well, let's get on with it. For a week, I barely saw Hassan. I woke up to find toasted bread, brewed tea, and a boiled egg already on the kitchen table. My clothes for the day were ironed and folded, left on the cane seat chair in the foyer where Hassan usually did his ironing. He used to wait for me to sit at the breakfast table before he started ironing. That way we could talk, used to sing too. Over the hissing of the iron, sang old Hazara songs about the tulip fields. Now only the folded clothes greeted me. That and breakfast I hardly finished anymore. One overcast morning, as I was pushing the boiled egg around on my plate, Ali walked in cradling a pile of chopped wood. I asked him where Hassan was. He went back to sleep, Ali said. Kneeling before the stove, he pulled the little square door open. Would Hassan be able to play today? Ali paused with a long log in his hand, a worried look across his face. Lately, he seems all he wants to do is sleep. He does his chores, I see that. But then he just wants to crawl under his blanket. Can I ask you something? If you have to. After that kite tournament, he came home a little bloodied and his shirt was torn. I asked him what had happened, and he said it was nothing, that he'd gotten into a little scuffle with some kids over the kite. I didn't say anything, just kept pushing the egg around on my plate. Did something happen to him, Amir Agha? Something he's not telling me? I shrugged. How should I know? You would tell me, nay? Inshallah, you would tell me if something had happened. Like I said, how should I know? How should I know what's wrong with him? I snapped. Maybe he's sick. People get sick all the time. All now, Ali, now, am I going to freeze to death or are you planning on lighting the stove already? That night I asked Baba if we could go to Jalalabad on Friday. He was rocking on the leather swivel chair behind his desk, reading a newspaper. He put it down, took off the reading glasses I disliked so much. Baba wasn't old, not at all, and he had lots of years to live. So why did he have to wear those stupid glasses? Why not? He said. Lately, Baba agreed to everything I asked. Not only that, just 2 nights before, he'd asked me if I wanted to see El Cid with Charlton Heston at Cinema Ariana. Do you want to ask Hassan to come along to Jalalabad? Why did Baba have to spoil it like that? He's Mazriyes, I said, not feeling well. Really? Baba stopped rocking in his chair. What's wrong with him? I gave a shrug and sank into the sofa by the fireplace. He's got a cold or something. Ali says he's sleeping it off. I haven't seen much of Hassan the last few days, Baba said. That's all it is then, a cold? Couldn't help hating the way his brow furrowed with worry. Just a cold. So, are we going Friday, Baba? Yes. Pushing away from the desk. Too bad about Hassan. I thought you might have had more fun if he came. Well, the two of us can have fun together, I said. Baba smiled, winked. Dress warm, he said. Should have been just the two of us. That was the way. I wanted it. But by Wednesday night, Baba had managed to invite another 2 dozen people. He called his cousin Homayun, and he was actually Baba's second cousin, and mentioned he was going to Jalalabad on Friday, and Hamayon, who had studied engineering in France and had a house in Jalalabad. He said he'd love to have everyone over. He'd bring the kids, his 2 wives, and while he was at it, cousin Shafika and her family were visiting from Herat. Maybe she'd like to tag along. And since she was staying with cousin Nader in Kabul, his family would have to be invited as well, even though Homayun and Nader had a bit of feud going on. And if Nader was invited, surely his brother Farouk had to be asked too, or his feelings would be hurt and he might not invite them to his daughter's wedding next month, and so on. We filled 3 vans. I rode with Baba, Rahim Khan, Kaka Homayun. Baba had taught me at a young age to call any other older male Kaka or uncle, and any older female Kala or aunt. Kaka Homayun's 2 wives rode with us too. The pinch-faced older one with the warts on her hands, and the younger one who always smelled of perfume and danced with her eyes closed, as did Kaka Homayun's 2 twin girls. I sat in the back row, car sick and dizzy, sandwiched between the 7-year-old twins who kept reaching over my lap to slap at each other. The road to Allahabad is a 2-hour trek through mountain roads, winding along a steep drop, and my stomach lurched with each hairpin turn. Everyone in the van was talking loudly, and at the same time nearly shrieking, which is how Afghans talk. I asked one of the twins, Fazila or Karima. I could never tell which was which. If she'd trade her window seat with me so I could get fresh air on account of my car sickness. She stuck her tongue out and said no. I told her that was fine, but I couldn't be held accountable for vomiting on her new dress. A minute later, I was leaning out the window. I watched the cratered road rise and fall, whirled its tail around the mountainside, counted the multicolored trucks packed with squattering men lumbering past. I tried closing my eyes, letting the wind snap at my cheeks, opened my mouth to swallow the clean air. I still didn't feel better. A finger poked at me inside. It was Fazila. Or Karima. I don't know. What? I said. Wait. I was just telling everyone about the tournament. No, wait. Oh, wait, that was Baba, sorry. I was just telling everyone about the tournament, Baba said from behind the wheel. Kaka Homayun and his wives were smiling at me from the middle of the middle row of seats. There must have been 100 kites in the sky that day, Baba said. Is that about right, Amir? I guess so, I mumbled. 100 kites, Homayun Jan, no laugh, and the only one still flying at the end of the day was Amir's. He has the last kite at home. A beautiful blue kite. Hassan and Amir ran it together. Congratulations, Kaka Homayun said. His first wife, the one with the warts, clapped her hands. Wah, Mirhan, we're all so proud of you, she said. Then your wife joined in. Then they were all clapping, yelping their praises, telling me how proud I'd made them all. Only Rahim Khan, sitting in the passenger seat next to Baba, was silent. He was looking at me in an odd way. Please pull over, Baba. What? Getting sick, I muttered, leaning across the seat, pressing against Kaka Homayun's daughters. Fazila Karima's face twisted. Pull over, Kaka! His face is yellow! I don't want it throwing up on my new dress, she squealed. Baba began to pull over, but I didn't make it. A few minutes later, I was sitting on a rock on the side of the road as they aired out the van. Baba was smoking with Kaka Homayun, who was telling Fazila and Karima to stop crying. He'd buy her another dress in Allahabad. I closed my eyes, turned my face to the sun. Little shapes formed behind my eyelids, like hands playing shadows on the wall. They twisted, merged, formed a single shape. Sans brown corduroy pants discarded on a pile of old bricks in the alley. Kaka Homayun's white 2-story house in Allahabad had a balcony overlooking a large walled garden with apple and persimmon trees. There were hedges that, in the summer, the garden was shaped like animals, and a swimming pool with emerald-colored tiles. I sat on the edge of the pool, empty save for a layer of slushy snow at the bottom, feet dangling in. Kaka Homayun's kids were playing hide-and-seek at the other end of the yard. The women were cooking, and I could smell onions frying already, could hear the f-f of a pressure cooker. Music, laughter. Baba, Rahim Khan, Kaka Homayun, and Kaka Nader were sitting on the balcony, smoking. Kaka Homayun was telling them he'd brought the projector along to show his slides of France. 10 years since he'd returned from Paris, and he was still showing those stupid slides. It shouldn't have felt this way. Baba and I were finally friends. We'd gone to the zoo a few days before, seen Marhan the lion, and I had hurled a pebble at the bear when no one was watching. We'd gone to Dad Koda's kebab house from the tandoor. Afterward, across from Signal Park, had lamb kebab with freshly baked naan from the tandoor. Baba told me stories of his travels to India and Russia. The people he had met, like the armless, legless couple in Bombay, who'd been married 47 years and raised 11 children. That should have been fun, spending a day like that with Baba. Hearing his stories, I finally had what I wanted all those years. Except now that I had it, felt as empty as this unkempt pool I was dangling my legs into. The wives and daughters served dinner, rice, kofta, and chicken korma. At sundown, we dined at the traditional way, sitting on the cushions around the room, tablecloths spread on the floor, eating with our hands in groups of 4 or 5 from common platers. I wasn't hungry, but sat down to eat anyways with Baba, Kaka Farouk, and Kaka Homayun's 2 boys. Baba, who'd had a few scotches before dinner, was still ranting about the kite tournament, how I'd outlasted them all, and how I'd come home with the last kite. His blooming voice dominated the room. People raised their heads from their platters, called out their congratulations. Kaka Farouk patted my back with his clean hand. I felt like sticking a knife in my eye. Later, well past midnight, after a few hours of poker between Baba and his cousins, the men laid down to sleep on parallel mattresses in the same room where we dined. The women went upstairs. An hour later, I still couldn't sleep. I kept tossing and turning as my relatives grunted, sighed, and snored in their sleep. I sat up. A wedge of moonlight streamed in through the window. I watched Hassan get raped. I said to no one. Baba stirred in his sleep. Kaka Homayun grunted. A part of me was hoping someone would wake up and hear, so I wouldn't have to live with Sly anymore. But no one woke up, and in the silence that followed, I understood the nature of my new curse. I was going to get away with it. I thought about Hassan's dream, and one about us swimming in the lake. There is no monster, he said, just water. Except he'd been wrong about that. There was a monster in the lake. It had grabbed Hassan by the ankles, dragged him into the murky bottom. I was that monster. That was the night I became an insomniac. I didn't speak to Hassan until the middle of the next week. I had just half eaten my lunch, and Hassan was doing the dishes. I was walking upstairs, going to my room, wherein Hassan asked if I wanted to hike up the hill. I said I was tired. Hassan looked tired too. He'd lost weight, and gray circles had formed under his puffed up eyes. But when he asked again, I reluctantly agreed. We trekked up the hill, our boots squishing in the muddy snow. Neither one of us said anything. We sat under our pomegranate tree, and I knew I'd made a mistake. I shouldn't have come up the hill. The words I'd carved onto the tree trunk with Ali's kitchen knife. Amir and Hassan, the sultans of Kabul. I couldn't stand looking at them now. He asked me to read to him from Shahnama, and I told him I'd changed my mind. Told him I just wanted to go back to my room. He looked away and shrugged. We walked back down the way we'd gone up in silence. But for the first time in my life, I couldn't wait for spring. My memory of the rest of that winter of 1975 is pretty hazy. I remember I was fairly happy when Baba was home. We'd eat together, go to see a film, visit Kaka Homayun or Kaka Farouk. Sometimes Rahim Khan came over and Baba let me sit in the study and sip tea with him. He'd even have me read him some of my stories. It was good. It was good, and I even believe it would last. And Baba believed it too, I think. We both should have known better. For at least a few months after the kite tournament, Baba and I immersed ourselves in a sweet illusion, saw each other in a way that we had never seen before. We'd actually deceived ourselves onto thinking that a toy made of tissue paper, glue, and bamboo could somehow close the hole between us there, the gap between us. But when Baba was out, and he was out a lot, I closed myself in my room. I read a book every couple of days, wrote stories, learned to draw horses. I'd hear Hassan's stuff shuffling around the kitchen in the morning, hear the clinking of silverware, the whistle of the teapot. I'd wait to hear the door shut, and only then I would walk down to eat. On my calendar, I circled the date on the first day of school and began a countdown. To my dismay, Hassan kept trying to rekindle things between us. I remember the last time I was in my room reading an abbreviated Farsi translation of Ivanhoe when he knocked on my front door. "What is it?" "I'm going to the baker to buy naan," he said from the other side of the door. "I was wondering if you wanted to come along." "I think I'm just going to read." I rubbed my eyes, I rubbed my temples. Lately, every time Hassan was around, I was getting a headache. "It's a sunny day." "I can see that." "Might be fun to go for a walk." You go. I wish you'd come along, he said. Pause. Something thumped against the door. Maybe his forehead. I don't know what I've done, Amir Haga. I wish you'd tell me. I don't know why we don't play anymore. You haven't done anything, Hassan. Just go. You can tell me. I'll stop doing it. Buried my head in my lap, squeezed my temples and my knees like a vice. I'll tell you what I want you to stop doing, I said, eyes pressed shut. Anything. I want you to stop harassing me. I want you to go away, I snapped. I wish he would give it right back to me, break the door open and tell me off. It would have made things easier, better. But he didn't do anything like that. And when I opened the door a few minutes later, he wasn't there. I fell on my bed, buried my head under the pillow, and cried. So basically, Amir so far has got a better relationship with his father, but though he was silent with Hassan for a while, but then Hassan wanted to rekindle their friendship, and then here's Amir being a dick again, shoving him away. Okay, so let's get on. Hassan milled about the periphery of my life after that. I made sure our paths crossed as little as possible, planned my day that way, because when he was around, the oxygen seeped out of the room. My chest tightened, and I couldn't draw enough air. I'd stand there, gasping in my own little airless bubble of atmosphere. But even when he wasn't around, he was there in the outside of my door, in the wood already burning in the stove. When I came down for breakfast, everyone I turned, I saw signs of his loyalty, his goddamn unwavering loyalty. Early that spring, a few days before the new school year started, Baba and I were planting tulips in the garden. Most of the snow had melted, and the hills in the north were already dotted with patches of green grass. It was a cool gray morning, and Baba was squatting next to me, digging the soil and planting the bulbs I handed to him. He was telling me how most people thought it was better to plant tulips in the fall, and how that wasn't true, when I came right out and said it. Baba, have you ever thought about getting new servants? He dropped the tulip bulb and buried the trowel in the dirt. Took off his gardening gloves. I startled him. Chi? Chi? What did you say? I was just wondering, that's all. Why would I ever want to do that? Baba said curtly. You wouldn't, I guess. It was just a question, I said, my voice fading into a murmur. I was already sorry I said it. Is this about you and Hassan? I know there's something going on between you two, but whatever it is, you have to deal with it, not me. I'm staying out of it. I'm sorry, Baba. He put his gloves on again. I grew up with Ali, he said through clenched teeth. My father took him in. He loved Ali like his own son. 40 years, Ali's been with my family. 40 goddamn years. And you think I'm going to throw him out? He turned to me, his face as red as a tulip. I've never laid a hand on you, Amir. But if you ever say that again, he looked away, shaking his head. You bring me shame. And Hassan's not going anywhere. Do you understand? I looked down, picked up a fistful of cool soil, then it poured between my fingers. I said, do you understand? I flinched. Yes, Baba. Hassan's not going anywhere, Baba snapped. He dug a new hole. Wait, what? Is it the same page? Okay, maybe not, he's just repeating. Okay. Hassan's not going anywhere, Baba snapped. He dug a new hole with the trowel, striking the dirt harder than he had to before. He's staying right here, with us, where he belongs. This is his home, and we're his family. Don't you ever ask me that question again. I won't, Baba. I'm sorry. He planted the rest of the tulips in silence.